let's talk about this season finale where a lot was wrapped up. It was a great ending to the story. So Ella, talk about what Mary's going through when she doesn't hear from Hayward. He doesn't answer any of her letters.
Yeah, I think that bit is more you say protracted in the book. It's more prolonged, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's like this, which we tried to kind of encapsulate in quite a short space of time, because in the book it's like she just, what's the time frame? It's like
it's months.
It's like such a long time that she's waiting. She has no communication with him, like, whatsoever, and doesn't know where he is, and doesn't know cannot make the first move to communicate with him, because that just wasn't the done thing.
No, you couldn't. No way.
So she's just like in no man's land, like waiting for this guy to kind of like reappear, and he might never reappear. That's the kind of brutal thing, is like he may never come back.
Well, who does appear is Mr. Ryder, and he shows up and he makes a very interesting proposal to her. Sarah, can you talk about writing that scene? It's a big scene where we see Mary kind of stand up for herself.
Yeah, I think Ryder coming back for that second proposal, there was a feeling, I wanted to give the audience the feeling that she could well say yes. It's a fantastic offer. And at any other point in the story, she would have said yes. And that's really shows Mary's growth.
Yeah.
That this is the moment where she says, I don't love you. And it's typically a Mary response, just absolutely from the gut, from the heart.
Yeah.
You know, just a really, really honest response to him. But I think writing that scene, you know, I wanted it to build, and I think the way it was directed was beautiful. And Laurie's performance as he built an excitement to being like, I've come back with the right proposal this time. and then to see him knock back, and we actually shot
the kind of semi-proposal,
the Italy
half
proposal
and the real proposal, like
a day apart.
A day apart, and we were like, how do we make these two things feel different? Because they both felt like really bittersweet and really sad.
Heartbreaking for Laurie.
Yeah.
I mean, my God,
Laurie
he
was like, twice in a row. Yeah.
But I think what he found so beautifully in that scene was he played that, you know, that sense of real heartbreak and real, you know, but a respect that Mary Bennett had grown.
Yeah.
Well, Mary also had a lot of respect and kindness for him in that scene. And she said, I've learned things from you.
Yeah.
So what did she learn from him?
Well, I think that scene for me felt really like, this is the first time she sees him after he's essentially kind of left them to die upon a mountain. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a bit of her which is feeling a bit like, you have some explaining to do.
Yeah.
But I think once he explains himself, she kind of realizes quite early on, I think, in that scene, what's about to happen, and she just wants him to feel, I think in classic Mary fashion, like, she just wants him to feel okay.
Yeah.
I think Mary has that quite a lot, doesn't she? Where
does.
she's kind of like, just kind of always trying to read the person that she's opposite, and just trying to make sure that they're doing okay.
She offers people the kindness she's never received.
Yes,
and I think what was really important for me in that scene, actually, that Mary acknowledged what she got from Ryder, because we didn't play that just as a kind of like love triangle for the sake of kind of titillating the audience. We played it genuinely, that all of these, Mr. Sparrow, Mr. Collins, they all really brought something to Mary. And I think Ryder taught Mary to laugh out loud.
Yeah, totally.
Even if she's been told not to.
Totally.
To enjoy the literature she enjoys, to be the person she is. He's a huge part of that journey, isn't he?
Yeah, totally. To not be afraid what other people are going to say or think about her, really.
And I think she wanted to thank him for that, even though, because of Mrs. Gardner, she knows that doesn't mean I should marry him.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you also have a scene where you see Mr. Sparrow again.
Yeah.
When you're crying in the park.
Yeah, it's a lovely scene.
So talk about that. How does Mary feel when he just sort of shows up?
Yeah, well, I think it's completely unexpected. She's in a park crying about what's just happened and trying to like get herself together, and then suddenly she sees this person from her past. And I think the whole Mr. Sparrow thing felt really again, I'm sort of harking back to Janice's book, but in the book, Mary doesn't let go of the incident with Mr. Sparrow for the whole journey. She felt such a huge amount of guilt over the rejection, that she just kind of hangs on to it. And I tried to keep that in Mary's journey throughout the whole thing, that there'd just be certain things that would kind of send her back to that moment where she'd been opposite this man and let him down because of something that her mother told her to do, and she wasn't true to herself in that moment. And I think she felt really really, like she hadn't behaved in a way that was
pain, didn't she?
Yeah.
Where Mary wants to give people the kindness, as you
Yes.
just said, she wasn't able to in that moment be true to herself.
And in her mind, he could have gone on and had, when you do something and you think, I've ruined that person's life, they're going to go on and they're not going to have a happy life because of that one thing that I did. And so when she sees him and he's a doctor and he's got a family and he's flourishing in London, it's like this weight just kind of drops away off her shoulders, because it's like, oh, okay, I didn't ruin his life. He's happy, and it's a kind of full circle moment, really.
She also has a great scene with her mother, where it's probably the closest to heart that her mother will ever have with her, where she explains why she treated Mary the way she did. Is that a resolution for Mary?
I think it's a moment of clarity for Mary. I don't know about a resolution. I think it's a moment where she realizes that because even in that moment where Mrs. Bennet is trying to justify her actions, it still is about her. It's still about Mrs. Bennet. She's still saying, but what about me? What about like what I've been through? She's not quite able still, I don't know if you agree, to kind of see Mary's pain in that moment.
Yeah,
don't you think?
I think what was interesting in writing that scene, because that's not from, they do meet at the end of the book, but that's not the outcome. But I think what I wanted to use that scene was to show how Mary had grown. And I think actually the way that you show that you've grown is to say, you can't hurt me anymore.
Yes.
And Mary takes the grown-up role. And when you turn around and you treat your parent like a child and you say, okay, I'm sorry you've been through that, but okay, off you go.
Yeah.
You know, it's the moment
exactly
that I think
it's a moment
for
of
her,
release.
it's a moment of release. So it's not that Mrs. Bennet, there's a shred of understanding from Mary towards her mother, but I think it's that moment of Mary being able to say, you can't hurt me now.
I'm kind of ready to let
I'm ready to let this go. The hold that you've had on me, it's not there anymore, which is huge.
Yeah.
It's huge, and there's also, a lot of talk in our culture right now about people who've gone no contact with their parents, emotionally abusive parents.
Right.
So it feels still very contemporary, that some things just don't get resolved. Have you had response from viewers about that particular thing? Have you heard from people who've gone through that?
I've definitely had messages on Instagram from people who've said they have got really complicated relationships with their mothers in particular, I would say, and that they found it it just touched a raw nerve for them because of, and I've had kind of people say that it's made them realise something about those familial relationships that they're kind of now maybe ready to do something about or take action over.
It feels like that complicated mother-daughter relationship isn't often on screen. I was thinking Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
But it's not a relationship we often explore, and yet it is a relationship that people often experience. I don't think as a woman you have to go far in your friendship group to find someone who has had that relationship, because Mrs. Bennet is the first person to set the standards and values that Mary can't reach. She's the first person to say you failed. And for a mother to say that to a child, to be the first one to say you failed, is kind of extraordinary and deeply painful and damaging. So I think that scene was never about, we couldn't undo what Mrs. Bennet had done, all the damage. I mean, literally from Ep 3 onwards, we're unpicking everything that's been done to Mary in childhood, aren't we? Through Mrs. Gardner, etc. So I think that scene was really about Mary letting go.
Yeah.
Well, the next scene, it's so great because she ends up saying, I'd carved out my own path. She's working as a governess. She seems to not be longing for Hayward. She's not longing for approval. We see her walking down the streets of London, so confident. What was it like to reach that point with the character?
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of it's such an incredible place for her to end up when you look at where she was in the beginning, where, as you say, she was completely held by this quite toxic relationship, ultimately, like just desperate for her mother's approval the whole way along, and to feel like she belonged in that setting was desperate to be given some validation, I think. So for her to then reach inside and feel like she's able to get all of that from herself, and obviously she has a huge amount of help from the gardeners. They shepherd her on that journey, but she arrives in this place where she's just like, I'm content within myself. I know that what's the line in the voiceover, which is like, I know that I am good enough.
Good enough, I'm happy in myself.
Which I think is just huge. How many of us are
unmarried
Totally.
in that era? I mean, unmarried now you start to realise that very little has changed for the choices and standards for women, and that's why it's really important to me that Mary reached that
Yeah.
point. That actually the ending wasn't, when I read the book, I was like, is he going to come back? Is he going to come back? But when I was writing, I wanted it to feel like the end was that point. I am good enough. And Hayward is a coda.
Totally.
He's a piece of the jigsaw.
You have to believe in that moment that if Hayward doesn't come back, that she'll be okay.
And I thought he wasn't going to. When I was watching
it,
I thought, okay, well, she's fine, and I'm happy to leave this story here.
Yes.
Yes. But he does come back.
He does.
And
Left it a bit late.
But I love she says, so it was that I married him on my own terms.
Yes.
And in my own time.
Yes.
So tell me about their reunion, though, when he comes running up to her in the park.
I mean, I think it's very real. I think the way that Sarah wrote that scene is incredibly real and authentic, because you kind of think it's going to be, when you see him like shouting her name through the park, you kind of think it's going to be them like running together and embracing each other. And it wouldn't be, would it? Because you've got this man who's just disappeared and the last time she properly had a conversation with him was up on the summit of the mountain where he was about to propose to her, and then he just went cold and disappeared. So there's like a huge amount of anger for him in that moment, and that ultimately comes out in her like punching him in the middle of next to the water fountain.
Yeah.
Which is maybe a little bit aggressive, but I think it feels real, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it's weird. Yeah. It was weird. Ep 10, honestly, when I was writing, it sort of came up and out.
Yes.
And when I got to that scene, I was so stunned by how angry she was. It was like it was coming out of me, and I was like, oh, she's really angry. I was like, oh, wow.
Yes.
I didn't, it's not that I went into it thinking, oh yeah, it wasn't like an outside thing. She just kind of came out of me really angry, because in that argument up the mountain, also since then she's found out that he was going to decide her fate with Mr. Ryder.
Yes, exactly. She's found that out through Mr. Ryder.
The stupidity that none of this pain needed to be caused.
Yes.
It was, so that and the kind of like punching just felt like she just needed to get it out.
Yeah, and
but
the way he
was...
that was bad. That was quite bad. We should have had padding.
So tell me about shooting that scene. Did you hurt someone?
I mean, Donal was very much just like, obviously he would be. He'd be like, just hit me, And I should have given him. but we didn't do it many times. I think we did it like twice.
Yeah, you only got twice. Yeah.
So he wasn't like Bruce. It's like we were both just quite in it, and we kind of just went for a little bit.
You were both so in it.
But yeah, I think it's the way he responds to that is quite telling of what their relationship is probably going to be like in the future, I think, isn't it? Because he's kind of just like, he's a bit stunned. He's a bit stunned. But he's not like outraged that this woman is hitting him publicly in the middle of a park.
He's kind of like, I deserve it.
He's kind of like, I deserve it. Yeah.
It won't become a regular part of their relationship.
I don't think so. I don't think it's a new
Hopefully not. Yeah.
Well, at the end we see that Mary's writing a book.
Yes.
Advice for a young woman.
Yeah.
What's her biggest piece of advice?
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, I guess really it's just to kind of shut out the noise, isn't it? Really. I think really I've spoken about this a fair amount in interviews, that it was like this. It was obviously, it still kind of is, but it was unappealing as a woman to to demonstrate intelligence.
Yeah.
And so it was like, just hide that. If you've got an amazing brain, maybe just don't show that to men, because they won't. That's not what they want to see. They want to see someone that's demure and I guess what's the word? Just kind of like passive and a bit subservient.
Yeah.
So I think, but the whole thing about Mary becoming a governess to young women and teaching them kind of these specialist subjects that don't get taught to women often is about that. It's about, I want to like equip these women with huge knowledge and intelligence, and I also want to teach them not to hide it, to kind of go out there and express it. So I think that would be a big piece of her advice to young women.
And women didn't have a voice in that era.
Yeah.
They just didn't have a voice. So it's an extraordinary thing for her to do. And we deliberately didn't have it printed in a book or anything. It's just the fact that she'd written it down. And for me, part of that was marking that when we first meet Mary, she studies Fordyce's Sermons for Young Women.
Yes.
Which, this like middle-aged vicar,
piece
they are
of
the
work.
driest.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get 3 pages in before you want to throw it out the window because it's so anger-inducing that after dinner women would listen to these sermons on how they should behave. And I was kind of astounded when I started reading them. And then in the middle of the season, in Ep 6, or I think it is, she goes back to them. She's like, You know what? They're not quite what I thought they were.
But I think it's interesting that Mary reads them in the first place because she reads them because he's one of the few men that isn't celebrating beauty.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
He's kind of like,
She
you
does
don't
find
need to be
something.
beautiful. Exactly. So she
Yeah.
latches onto that.
Yeah.
Because no one else has ever told her that.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, maybe I don't need to be glamorous and beautiful.
But
to be
he's still
valued.
got his own ideas of what a woman should be.
Totally.
So that's why
Yeah.
she goes back to it and she's like, I'm not sure. And then at the end, really, I wanted that book on that table
Yeah.
to show that I trust my own voice now.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's sort of marking that journey of her learning
Yeah.
to trust herself.
Yeah.
Well, now we have the manosphere,
Yes.
right? So,
Yes.
I mean, we still have that voice out there.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
completely. And I think we're just, you feel like you're constantly being judged and critiqued for
Yeah.
especially the way you look as a woman, I think.
Yeah.
Constantly.
And it feels like, one of the things that first drew me to this story is that it's a story about kindness and the enormous, like, life-changing impact kindness has on a young woman's life. And it comes from Hill at the beginning and then from Mrs. Gardner. And what they do is they shepherd and they buffer. Mrs. Bennet is a creator. She is like, if she was a mum now, she'd play Beethoven to the bump and she'd push her kid to the front regardless of other children, and she'd whisper what was going on in the theatre even though her kid was watching it. She's creating this kid.
Yeah.
Whereas Mrs. Gardner is a shepherd,
Yeah.
which we can all learn from, that we say to young people, well, how do you feel? Well, if you feel good wearing that, you wear that.
Yeah.
And I think, especially as women, we can do that for each other.
Yeah.
We can create the world that we want to live in by just taking a second before we judge
Yes.
absent-mindedly
Yes.
what someone's wearing
Yes.
or how they carry themselves.
Yeah.
That we just stop and offer that generosity, because culturally, we just quickly judge,
Yeah.
don't we? And we
Yeah.
quickly give opinions on,
Yeah.
and I think as women, we could really be conscious of at least starting that process ourselves of creating the world we want to live in.
How
where we
does it
go,
make
you look
you
great.
feel?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
look
yeah,
great.
yeah.
How do you feel? What do you
Yeah.
want? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ella, has it given you more confidence? It's your first leading role.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's also given me a whole load of self-doubt.
Why?
I mean, I think, that's just the nature of my personality. But,
That's why you're good.
but no, it definitely, I feel very, I guess I've just learned a lot through Mary. I kind of just, all the things that kind of Mary learns about herself,
Like,
the way she wants to be.
what's the big one?
I can think it's just about authenticity, really. It's just all the stuff we've been saying about kind of just trying to shut out the noise of what other people will offer a lot of opinions on what they think you should be doing. And I think the minute you've got eyes on you, as you say, it's my first leading role, so there's like more people are more vocal about those comments, and they're kind of like, this is what you should do, and this is what you should look like, and this is what, and it's really hard to like shut it all out and just be like, what's actually going to make me happy?
What do you want to do next?
Oh, I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea. I would like to do more comedy. I would like to do. I'm the same as you. I kind of started my love for performance and for storytelling started through social realism. I just grew up watching Shane Meadows films, and I was like, I'd love to do more of that. I like to do like very hyper naturalistic stuff. So that. But I just love good writing. When I'm sent a script and I fall in love with it, it really doesn't matter what genre it is or who wrote it. I'm just like, that's something I want to do. So
If there's one big moment that was really fun to shoot, besides punching your future husband in the arm, was there one?
Oh God, there's too many. It's really hard. I love all the two-hander scenes. Like I love the scene with Lizzie in the bedroom. I love the scenes with Ruth. Those kind of scenes. Most of them are in block 2, I guess. So it was Asim Abbasi directing them, and we just did them. We had lots of time, and we did them like little pieces of theatre.
It felt like theatre, yeah, it did.
The rowboat scene is really funny too.
Yeah, the rowboat scene was great. Well, we were just out in the middle of a lake all day
when
in the
you
sun.
came back in.
Yeah. And we like Indira Varma was like swimming in the lake.
Yeah,
It was just
swimming.
they were beautiful days.
How cold was it?
Well, I didn't get it. I put my feet in. I put my
freezing.
feet in. You put your feet. Did you
Yeah,
go
I
for
put
a
my
swim?
feet in. I did not go for a swim. I'm not brave.
I was
hot.
quite jealous of the boys, genuinely, because it was like baking hot that day. And I was like, all I want to do is like jump in the water. But then they were in it for quite a long time.
They were shaking and blue.
Yeah.
We were like, we best get them out.
Yeah, we had a medic that was very
on it.
He was on it.
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
like, they're seconds away from pneumonia.
Hypothermia.
Get them out. And they were like, we're fine.
Yeah, they were like, all right.
But yeah, they were fun days.
I'm glad they made it because we needed them in the next few episodes.
Might need them.
So yeah,
Might need
yeah.
them. Yeah.